Hi, wondering how you can sell and buy a house in the same day? Well, you're not alone. It can be a little complicated, but stick around and I'm here to show you how. You need a plan and you need some patience, but it can all work out. Stick around. Hi, I'm Byer with Keller Williams in Exton, Pennsylvania. Whether you're local here in Pennsylvania or anywhere in the world, this is a scenario that happens every day all over the world. People move. They have to settle on the same day. Hi, if you're interested in real estate here in Chester County, Pennsylvania, subscribe to my channel. I post videos regularly. Hit the notification bell. You'll be alerted the moment a new one is live. The first step in this process is to figure out how much you're going to get for your home. Well, that takes an appraisal or working with a realtor to figure that out. I would encourage you to be conservative in your estimate, and you'll ultimately need to figure out the net proceeds. That's the walk-away number. So you'll have to subtract any mortgage that you owe, obviously commissions. There may be, here in Pennsylvania, we have transfer tax. You might have notary fees. You will have, if you have a homeowners association, there are document fees for that, perhaps a use and occupancy permit fee. I can help you figure out what you're likely to walk away with. The next step is to have a conversation with a lender if you're in a position where you're going to need a loan for the home that you buy. You'll want to find out, can you afford the home you're living in at the same time that you buy a new home? Perhaps you can cover both mortgages for a short period of time. Now, whether or not you want to do that, that's a whole other conversation. And there is some risk, obviously, involved in that scenario. But we want to know where you stand, and that's a conversation with a lender. Now, you want someone you can trust. I can provide you names. You don't want to go to some 1-800 Rocket kind of a thing. You really want somebody who, has a local presence and you can, bang on their door, so to speak. So now you've established what you think you'll get for your home, and you'll know what you can afford in terms of a mortgage on the new home. So you want to see, does it make sense? Can you get what you want in a home at the price point that you can afford? Because maybe a move doesn't make sense, maybe waiting makes sense. But assuming that you can find things, you're going to obviously look around on what's available right now to see, hey, and I can certainly help you with that, like what actually settled at this price point. And if those homes were currently on the market, could you be happy living in any of them? So assuming it makes sense, the numbers work, and you want to live in the lifestyle of a home that you can afford, you want to get your home ready for sale. I mean, full tilt. You want to do all the preparation. You want to declutter, paint, clean, be show ready, so to speak. Check out my video, How to Sell a Home, 6 Tips You Should Know. It'll give you some direction. For some folks, this process of selling or preparing for sale is quick, and for others, it can take a while. So now the house is ready. What's your next step? Let's start with the most ideal scenario. You have sufficient assets to buy a new house without selling yours. You go look, you find the house, you go under contract, and you set up a date to move. Now, what date would that be? If you really prefer to sell your home before you settle, you extend that settlement a little bit and see if it can all work out. But if you don't care, and maybe you want to move in, you want to buy the new place, take your time to replace carpet, paint, remodel the kitchen, whatever, and then when you're ready, move in, that's certainly your option. I actually love this scenario where you can use the new home to get a lot of the excess stuff out of the old home. So decluttering is easy peasy, and you streamline the old home so that it's in better condition for showing, because we do want a streamlined look in your home to make it the most appealing to buyers. I love this scenario because you can show your home without living there, which makes it so easy. Obviously, in terms of COVID, that's ideal, but also you don't have to keep it perfect all the time, which can be a challenge, especially with kids and putting toothpaste on the counter and such. A close second in terms of a scenario would be where you have sufficient equity in your current home, home A, that you can use that equity to buy home B. Now, you would want to do a home equity line in order to do that, and you would set that up before you go on the market with home A. Therefore, you can just use these funds, go under contract, and now you'll have that loan outstanding. Then when you sell home A, that home equity line is paid off. Alternatively, you can look at a bridge loan where the lender would understand that your intent is to use the proceeds of your home to pay off the bridge loan. You would want to consult with a lender to decide which way is the best way to go. Now we're going to look at some other scenarios that are not as ideal, but more normal. And in order to do that, we want to cover a couple concepts first. One is about the market. Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? If it's a buyer's market, there's plenty of inventory. Homes generally take a little longer to sell because buyers have many choices. So some some sellers are waiting for buyers, but it also has sufficient inventory that you can, as a buyer, find multiple choices of homes that could satisfy you. In a seller's market, there's limited inventory. Things sell quickly, and there aren't as many choices. Finding a home in a seller's market can be a little bit more of a challenge. The next concept to discuss is a home sale contingency. What is a home sale contingency? Well, if you sell your home, you have a contract on your home, and you must have the proceeds of that sale in order to buy home B, you would submit a home sale contingency. If you're under contract, truthfully, in Pennsylvania, it's called a home settlement contingency. It has been sold but has not yet settled. It's very common to have a home settlement contingency. It's very normal. Now, if that home does not settle, you can get your deposit money back. It's not default. It's understood. But in order to accept that kind of a contingency, the seller of home B would want to have a warm fuzzy that this is all going to go well. They're going to want to see that the buyer of your home is qualified, that there's sufficient assets, and they want to make sure that, in a perfect world, inspections have been done, because that can be a place where deals fall apart. The other option is called a home sale and settlement contingency. In this scenario, you haven't even put your home on the market. It's understood when you write an offer with this that your intention is to put it on the home very quickly, a week, at a reasonable price with a real estate agent. And should you not sell that home, there is a clause that allows the seller of home B to terminate because they don't want to wait around forever. So in the overlapping of the market condition and the contingency, I would tell you, in a hot seller's market, it's very hard to compete with a home sale and settlement contingency. In fact, just forget about it. Rare day, it would be a home that's been on the market a long time. It's certainly not a home that just hit the market. a home settlement contingency is far more acceptable and common. Another level of complication is if your buyer of home A has a home settlement contingency on a home that they have sold. So we have a series of dominoes, if you will. So it happens, it can work. You just have to be really on top of everything. That's why you need a good agent. If you're interested in seeing what a home sale and settlement or home settlement contingency addendum looks like, a sample of that, reach out to me and I'm happy to share that with you. So now let's go back to the scenario where you must sell in order to buy. So you will need one of these contingencies in your contract with the seller of home B. You start out, you put your home on the market, you get a contract, and now you have a contract. Hopefully you get through inspections. Might have been smart to do a home inspection, a pre-sale home inspection. That's another concept. Happy to do that in another video. But you are under contract and you have a solid deal, and now you can go buy a home. That could take you a little while, it could take you a day, but now you're going to submit an offer with that contingency. This is where the market comes into play. In a buyer's market, you'll have choices, you'll have sellers willing to accept a contingency without issue. In a balanced market, you're likely to have no issue either. In a very, very tight, low inventory market, you might be challenged to find the perfect home in a short term. I'll encourage you to really look hard at your list of must-haves and like-to-haves and see where you might concede. You might have to drive a little bit further to work. You might have to do some paint and wallpaper removal and maybe new carpet. You might even need to remodel the kitchen. But if you can get a home that meets all of your needs, in terms of size and location, maybe you want to concede on some of those details. It takes faith, it takes confidence, it takes a good agent, and it works out. It works out. But you do have to have plan B in place. How can you structure a deal to give you the best advantage in finding a home? Well, you might want to ask for an extended settlement. Now, that buyer wants to lock in a mortgage, and it might cost him money to extend the lock. Maybe you're willing to pay for that in order to make it happen. Maybe the buyer of your home is willing to allow you to close on the house, but stay in and rent back for a period of time. You would want to lease and have it all wrapped up, but that's another opportunity. You may want to store your things and get a short-term rental and wait for the right home. You may want to store your things and depend on the kindness of friends and family and live there temporarily. I have so many people that say, I don't want to move twice. I would never do that. Well, if you can capitalize on a hot market, get over list price, maybe that'll compensate for the inconvenience and cost of a double move. And it allows you to relax and not be under the gun to buy something that maybe you don't want to buy. If I can help you with any of these decisions, with finding out the facts about the value of your home, my contact information is below. Reach out to me. I'm happy to help.